But don't you got some more videos to stage, Gene? You and your wife? That fake ass video where she's laying on the ground. She's not even attempting to get up. You know, it's icy and snowy, and she supposedly fell. But it's kind of funny when you walk up on her. If you just look at the way she looks frozen, and I don't mean cold. She just looks like she's just stopped. She's not even blinking. She's just, it looks staged. So don't you got more videos, you and your wife to stage? Maybe this time she could be in a burning house, and you can film that, and she's at the window trying to get out. Maybe you could do that, Gene. Maybe you can film something like that. But let's go with what Jonathan Nolin was talked about, and you show your face, what you look like. See, I know the reason you don't want to show your face because you look more goofier than your wife. And we got a glimpse of the way you looked when you were showing that camera on video that you was going to give Jonathan Nolin. You put your face up to the camera by accident or something, and we kind of got a glimpse. And so we know that your duck ass looks goofy. We could see your lips, duck face. And so that's the reason you don't want to show yourself. You didn't mind showing your wife, did you? Show what a fool she is. Because what does she do? She falls on the ground and just sits there and it's wet, icy, snowy, and she just lays there and laughs and acts stupid and doesn't even try to get up. All the while you're talking all this shit. So it's one or two things. You got a dumbass wife and she's too stupid to get up, from being on the wet ground, or y'all staged the whole thing. And I think it's the second one that y'all staged it.
So let me try to explain this to two complete boobs. And those two boobs, being Jonathan Nolin and Bobby McGee, let me try to explain that what happened that day wasn't anything like the stories that you two keep on coming up with, in your video responses. How Rodney was saying that it was all staged, and then Jonathan telling me that I should warn my wife of the dangerous black ice that was disguised up ahead.
There's the ice. There's the asphalt. There are, place over the driveway where there's no thin black ice. She fell. There was the narrow way. She didn't take the narrow way, even though there was a way to not risk falling. And then she fell.
And there were a bunch more colorful nonsense thrown in there, just for good measure, I guess. So let me take you through those 2 days of that heavy snowfall, when my wife truly slipped and fell on the black ice, and you two still accuse us of staging it. And I'm going to show the both of you the truth. And if you don't think that I'm telling you the truth, I really could care less. And that's because I don't care at all what either one of you cares about me. Not even a tiny bit. And it's because I know exactly what happened that day. And that's because I was there. Were you there? I know what happened. And I know it's the truth. Were either of you two fumbling boobs present that day? Yet you speak as if you were.
Just a few moments later. Alright, repeat what happened again. No. You thought you were Jesus? How does that work? Repeat what happened again.
Why hiding your face? Why hiding your face? Was it staged? Is Rodney right? Because it's almost looking like she knew she was recorded. Hiding your face, knowing that you were recorded, as if it was staged, because she's asking, are you recording? But the hand was already over the face, as if it was staged.
Yes, Jonathan, she did know that I started videoing her. And you were asking me why I was telling her to repeat what just happened. Like it was some type of a reenactment. Or as you and your buddy Bobby like to say, it was staged.
as if it was staged.
Alright, repeat what happened again. You thought you were Jesus?
Repeat what happened again like a rehearsal. Maybe it was staged. You know, repeat what happened again like a rehearsal, as if it was staged, as if it was staged. You do a rehearsal when you stage an event, you read the script, you do the rehearsal, and then after that, the perfect illusion, as if it was staged.
And the both of you came to each of your incorrect conclusions by doing nothing except assuming, because the both of you were assuming a bunch of stuff that wasn't true. Yet the both of you are now saying that it was a higher spirit, that was telling you all this garbage.
I think it's cool how the higher power works.
So let's take a look at days 1 and 2, and my wife didn't fall until day 2. And I'll take you step by step through it with the videos I've gathered of that snowfall, and you'll see where each one of us were when it happened.
Oh, it looks scary outside. 3 January, 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's finally starting to do a little something. Heard it raining and raining earlier. Starting to freeze out. But, like I say, we're expecting between 1 and 79 inches. Easy. We're right on the line. Yup, as always, we're right on the line. I'll probably be out a little later, snow blowing. Yeah, 11:09. I should have came out here earlier. Look at this. My whole canopy thing fell over from the weight of snow on the canvas. Look at that. I told myself that I was going to come out here and do it when it first started, but then I went in and laid down again because I was tired. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go get the stove blower out, try to have a little bit of fun. Look at that. Walking in a winter wonderland. And maybe what I'll do, if I don't frickin' fall down here and bust my sacroiliac first. Ooh, got my fountain working. But, try to put it on the tripod. Somehow. Maybe you can see me throw some snow. Right. Nice chemtrails in the back.
And just so you can get a better time reference here, this is where I started the video, and I ran that video the entire length of my driveway. But at the bottom of the driveway, when you hear and read it on the screen where it says, "just a few moments later," then you see my wife laying in the driveway. There was almost a 15-minute period of time that was cut from what was shown. Because when I got to the bottom of the driveway, I seen my neighbor was out, and I was going to go over and see if he had any damage or if he might need some help. And then a few minutes later, I turned the camera back on to get some good snow footage of the front of the house, and I continued walking away from my driveway. But the thing is, my wife hasn't even come outside yet, because she needed to finish feeding the dogs, and there was really no opportunity to point out the dangers to her, as you suggested that I do, Jonathan, and that it wouldn't have happened if I had only shown her the narrow path.
Why your wife didn't simply take the narrow path where there is no ice? You showed clearly in the video she could avoid the ice, but now you say it was her fault she fell. There's the ice. There's the asphalt. There are place over the driveway where there's no thin black ice. She fell. There was the narrow way. She didn't take the narrow way, even though there was a way to not risk falling. And then she fell.
There we go. Much, much better. It is the day after. The driveway is cleared. Still got a little bit of work to do on the vehicles and stuff. But it's just that winter wonderland thing. There's those front trees. Oop, gotta watch it. Black ice. I got a little bit of snow. Look at that. Look at that pretty fake sun. Nah, just saying that. I have no idea. Who knows? But look at these things. They're just bent over so far. I am afraid. Well, I was afraid yesterday they were all going to snap. But you can't see that house over there during regular time. Sure is pretty. Tell you what. Yupper doodle. Then you come out front. Look how everything just clung. Uh-oh, more ice. Everything's falling. Ooh, that's not good over there. I hope it survives. Uh-oh. And then in the background, that tree. Check that one out. Bootimus. Absolutely bootimus. Was this all pure? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, slippy ice. That'll bust your ass.
And it was about right here where she fell down, and it was also about right here that I began to videotape her on the ground. And then I started saying a bunch of stupid shit, as Bobby so eloquently put it.
Show what a fool she is. Because what does she do? She falls on the ground and just sits there and it's wet, icy, snowy, and she just lays there and laughs and acts stupid and doesn't even try to get up. All the while you're talking all this shit. So it's one or two things. You got a dumbass wife and she's too stupid to get up, from being on the wet ground, or y'all staged the whole thing.
But I've come to realize that Bobby McGee isn't very smart. And he likes to go on a bunch of hunches, and then he rides his hopes that everything's gonna somehow pan out for him. And Jonathan's not too far behind that either. Because like I said, Bobby, it wasn't until about 15 minutes later that she fell down at the very spot that I showed the ice 15 minutes before that. So what do you think that I did during those 15 minutes, Bobby? Do you think that I just stood down at the bottom of my driveway and waited for those 15 minutes to pass just so I could have the opportunity to say, just a few moments later? No, I kept on going, and I took a right, and I started walking up the road. And it wasn't long after that I shut off the video and went down and started talking with my neighbor, and we watched his kid slide down the yard in his sled a couple times. And that was when I started recording the snow again. And my wife still hasn't even left the house yet.
A heartbeat. I gotta keep my eye on what I'm doing here while I'm walking. Everything's all frozen solid. Got Billy down there in the background. Look how pretty this stuff is.
See? No wife.
It's actually a wonder more trees didn't come down. We'll see. That tree there is beautiful as well. Look at that thing. Huh.
And this is when I decided to shut my video off and go down and talk with my neighbor. And this was after we were done talking and I resumed video in the snow.
I think this is recording. I hope so. I got the bright sun in my back. But, let me back out if I can. I don't know if this is responding. There we go. Let's try to cut that out. Wow.
Okay, and right now I'm actually standing about 30 yards from the bottom of that red arrow right there where my wife will eventually fall.
You didn't see her because she was all in black, but white and black, it's very apparent. There's the snow, it's white everywhere. The black over the white, how hard to miss. How hard to miss.
But still, she's not out there yet. So I'm going to keep going up the road.
How fast do you get going down there?
Fast?
How fast you get going?
Fast.
Let me see.
You have to go slow.
Go. You okay? Yeah. That was a wipeout there. Yeah, I wonder if that tree's just way down. I don't know. It looks far enough off the road to me. More up this way. Wow, I just love that. That's like 3 inches right on top. I gotta watch where I'm going. This is all black ice up here too. I'm gonna have to try to. I wish I would have had my better camera with me. This one is more than good. There he goes again down the hill. Uh-oh. Blah. Better that time. But that tree right there in the sunlight is beautiful. That is a beautiful tree. That's what I say. The world can be such a beautiful place. But then once it melts, everybody goes back to normal again and turns into a big shithole. And it's sad. It's sad but true. So I guess enjoy it while it's here. While you got a chance, enjoy it. Because soon enough it's going away. And soon enough it's going away permanently. See? Look back there in the background. Gotta get my chemtrail crap in. Yeah. Yep, over there too. They're still working.
And right there, something happened. I must have hit a button with my finger and it shut off right there in mid-flight. But I didn't really care to fumble around with it anymore because I was already on my way back to the house. I'd already videoed that part of the yard. So as far as I was concerned, I was done with the videoing at that point because I'd already done it and I got what I wanted to get. My neighbor was still up at the top of the hill with his kid sledding, so we made small chat for a little while, a couple more minutes, and it wasn't until I heard my dog barking and being a pain. But then I noticed that my dog was well out of her electric fence line perimeter, and she knew full well that she was never to go past a certain point on the driveway, and she had always respected that point. So I immediately went to the bottom of the drive, and I looked up, and there she was. Not just my dog, but there was my wife laying flat out on the asphalt. And I immediately had bad thoughts. They just started pouring in because I really didn't see her moving when I first called out for her. And I knew that there was black ice there from earlier. And I thought that she could have been hurt pretty bad. Because both of us, we've already been through the surgeries that accompany bad accidents. And neither one of us take those kind of things lightly, Bobby. You vile piece of shit. Her and I were there on the driveway for a good 5 minutes before she said that she didn't think anything major happened.
So it's one or two things. You got a dumbass wife, and she's too stupid to get up, from being on the wet ground, or y'all staged the whole thing.
And this was the start of her 5th week of recovery after she had already underwent a double mastectomy for her breast cancer. Because even though she landed on her butt, she said that the force of her hitting the ground caused more pain in her chest area than anything else. And that was what was mainly concerning her the most at the time. You say that my wife was too stupid to know how to get herself out of a puddle, Bobby, but I beg to differ with you. Because I do believe that she was the smart one in this instance. I mean, you act like if you would have been there that you would have expected your wife to jump up and shake it off right away. That she wouldn't look so stupid for the camera, like my wife did, apparently.
Because what does she do? She falls on the ground and just sits there and it's wet, icy, snowy, and she just lays there and laughs and acts stupid and doesn't even try to get up.
So is that what you would have said to your wife, Bobby? If she was ever around, that is? Which reminds me, just how successful has your marriage vows been, Bobby? How's your marriage union? Is it holding up like it's supposed to be? Are you still dating your wife's brother? How's that going for you?
Because what does she do? She falls on the ground and just sits there and it's wet, icy, snowy, and she just lays there and laughs and acts stupid and doesn't even try to get up.
But you never know, now do you? She was 62 when this fall happened, so she was a prime candidate to break her hip if things had gone any other way.
All the while you're talking all this shit. So it's one or two things. You got a dumbass wife, and she's too stupid to get up, from being on the wet ground, or y'all staged the whole thing.
How does that work? How did that go again? You thought you were Jesus walking on water?
My husband stands in my driveway as I lay on the ice and videos me.
Couldn't you make out our banter going back and forth, Jonathan? When she said, and her husband is standing in the middle of the driveway as she's on the ice and videos her.
My husband stands in my driveway as I lay on the ice and videos me.
And you can see that she's playing back to the camera, 'cause I just got finished telling her that I was going to send it to her sister. And she already knows what that would mean, because her and her sister have been pranking each other back and forth for as long as I've known them. And this would have just been another good-hearted source of conversation that's been piling up throughout the years. The video was never meant for YouTube to begin with, Jonathan. I take videos all the time, and I would say maybe 2% of what I've ever put out there is from my own camera. This was just another weather event that I wanted to record and put away in my files, so I could look at it again later in a few years. But none of this snow event was ever recorded for the purposes of putting it on my channel.
All the while you're talking all this shit. So it's one or two things. You got a dumbass wife, and she's too stupid to get up, from being on the wet ground, or y'all staged the whole thing. And I think it's the second one, that y'all staged it.
Isn't that how you want people to perceive it, Bobby? That it was all some staged theatrics? I mean, you are retarded, Bobby, and you're not too far behind, Jonathan, saying that me and my wife is in on some stage event because of how she was reacting to me playing around with her, videotaping her, and yes, Bobby, even saying stupid shit to her.
All the while you're talking all this shit.
I say stupid shit out of the blue to her every day. And at least 1 to 2 times a day, I'll get that solid laugh out of her.
Want to drag you down to a flat spot?
That's all I need to know, that she's still into me. After 25 years of marriage, she's still into me.
How does that work? How did that go again? You thought you were Jesus walking on water?
But we had already did the triage on her, and she was wanting to stay down on the ground for just a few more minutes, just to make sure. Is there something wrong with that there, Bobby?
See, I know the reason you don't want to show your face, because you look more goofier than your wife.
So I was bored, and I whipped my phone back out, and I started recording her, because she already knew that the video was going to be sent to her sister, pronto, who would then do whatever they wanted to with it. Like I said, the both of you are beyond retarded if you think you're going to keep on persisting that this was some staged event. I mean, who cares? I was lightening the mood by breaking out the camera and trying to get her mind off of whatever else her mind could have been on. Maybe that's why we're still together after 25 years.
Repeat what happened again?
No.
You thought you were Jesus? How does that work? How did that go again? You thought you were Jesus walking on water?
My husband stands in my driveway as I lay on the ice and videos me.
So how are the both of your streaks going over there? That you're somehow judging me and my wife of 25 years. You're judging us on some superficial evidence at best. So again, you two, what's your secret for a happy marriage? Bobby? Are you still even married?
Extremely wrong as hell. Rodney, how much did you do that was extremely wrong as hell? You refuse to take this opportunity to be with your own son and to leave him, the responsibility to leave your son to your wife that was a danger to your son because you told everybody how irresponsible was your wife of letting your son in the car, and she got arrested, and she still got him back because you didn't do what you should have for to keep him. But you know what? Because maybe you're not any more responsible than your wife. So extremely wrong as hell, you say. Just as much as you, René, you decided to not do what you should have for to keep your son and to leave the responsibility and in the hand of your wife that you knew already had been put in jail because of this behavior toward your son and her son.
And I've never even seen a picture of your wife or anything. But if you want to come right out of left field and start talking about how physically attractive somebody else's wife might look, in their opinion, that is, because contrary to what you were saying earlier about my wife, I happen to believe wholeheartedly that my wife is the most beautiful and the most perfect wife that I ever could have come across. And I'm thankful to the True Father every day, Bobby and Jonathan, for every day that we've been given with each other.
How did that go again? You thought you were Jesus walking on water?
My husband stands in my driveway as I lay on the ice and videos me.
No better time.
What kind of heart is that?
Well, it's not a reenactment, I'll tell you that much.
To get me a glass of wine or something.
How does that work? How did that go again? You thought you were Jesus walking on water?
My husband stands in my driveway as I lay on the ice and videos me.
And she just lays there and laughs and acts stupid and doesn't even try to get up.
She wanted wine. Can you get me a glass of wine or something? That's what you hear her say. If you'd pay attention. Then you can hear the voice of Jane saying, I don't want to give you what is causing the accident. The duck in the ice.
So what she was saying basically is that chivalry is dead. And you know what chivalry is, don't you, Jonathan? I don't think you do, though. Because the way that you tried to make my wife sound, it was that she wanted a drink and that I needed to go get her a glass of wine.
She wanted wine. Can you get me a glass of wine or something? That's what you hear her say. If you'd pay attention.
Those might have been some of the words that were spoken, Jonathan, but it was nowhere near what she meant, nor what she said. She was describing chivalry and how it was dead, and she was doing it with a smile on her face, Jonathan. Not the way you made it sound, all dark and dreary and a monotone voice, all in order to make it sound like she's dependent on alcohol or something.
She wanted wine. Can you get me a glass of wine or something? That's what you hear her say. If you'd pay attention.
And I already know that that's coming up in the near future because every time the word wine makes its way into a sentence, somehow that's got to spiritually mean that that person's an alcoholic of some kind or has a drug issue of some kind, whatever the flavor of the day might be for you.
Do you think that voice of Jean was agreeing with the wife of Jean to record her and put it on YouTube?
What exactly did you mean, Jonathan, when you asked if anybody thought that my wife had agreed to be recorded and put on YouTube? First off, I really don't think it would be anybody else's business as to whether or not my wife and I had come to some type of an agreement. Because there you go again, Jonathan. You're using all that vast marital knowledge and experience that you've accumulated just to be able to inform me that I did it all wrong and that I should have entered into some binding agreement of some type before anything at all could have happened.
She fell. There was the narrow way. She didn't take the narrow way, even though there was a way to not risk falling. And then she fell.
Plus, as I already mentioned earlier, This video wasn't made with the intentions of it being put up on YouTube. It wasn't until we were exactly sure that she was going to be okay and that she got a little more lightheartedness about her, and that was when I started videoing her again. And you could tell that she was playing it up for her sister by acting as if chivalry is dead somehow, especially when she's asking what kind of heart did her husband have just to stand there and video his wife while she's laying on the ice in the driveway. And then she said, "You should be getting me a glass of wine or something." But what she said, Jonathan, that was all said in jest. You can easily tell by the banter that she's jokingly saying what a good and honorable husband would have done in a situation like this. But do you understand any of it, Jonathan? Any of it that's going on? Because watch what you do here. You turn my wife's light-hearted actions, which they were, mind you, and anybody should be able to discern that if they're watching, and he's going to twist and turn her words into something completely different.
She wanted wine. Can you get me a glass of wine or something? That's what you hear her say, if you'd pay attention.
Something completely different than what she actually said and what she actually meant. But this is how you operate, Jonathan. You call it innocence, but if you ask me, it's nothing but pure ignorance. There's no innocence about it.
Get me a glass of wine or something.
No better time.
What kind of heart is that?
Well, it's not a reenactment, I'll tell you that much.
To get me a glass of wine or something.
She wanted wine. Can you get me a glass of wine or something? That's what you hear her say, if you'd pay attention. Bring me a glass of wine or something.
Reenactment, I'll tell you that much.
To get me a glass of wine or something.
Well, it's not a reenactment, I'll tell you.
It's not a reenactment, like a rehearsal. Filmmaker. And get me a glass of wine or something.
What was Billy?
Well, I'm not going to give you something that caused the accident.
Oh, you thought it was somebody else in your driveway? You didn't know it was me?
I didn't even see you. You're dressed in total black. All I seen was the dog barking. I thought she was barking at me.
Oh.
You didn't see her because she was all in black, but white and black, it's very apparent. There's the snow, it's white everywhere. The black over the white, how hard to miss. How hard to miss.
Do you want me to just drag you up the water?
No.
The water's perfectly slippy
cold,
today.
But I am
And when we're done, we can put it in your drink.
It's starting to feel better.
And even though I was over talking her, she said that her butt was getting cold, but she was feeling better and was getting ready to try and get up. So sorry, Bobby, but it looks like my significant other might just be smart enough to figure out how to get up out of that puddle.
Show what a fool she is. Because what does she do? She falls on the ground and just sits there and it's wet, icy, snowy, and she just lays there and laughs and acts stupid and doesn't even try to get up. All the while you're talking all this shit. So it's one or two things. You got a dumbass wife and she's too stupid to get up, from being on the wet ground, or y'all staged the whole thing. And I think it's the second one, that y'all staged it.
She wanted wine. Can you get me a glass of wine or something? That's what you hear her say, if you'd pay attention.
Want to drag you down to a flat spot? Go, Jesus. You could do it.
Probably be stuck to the ice like people get stuck to the
Tongue? Get your tongue stuck to the...
I don't think so.
Just stick it out.
Maybe I can act like I'm taking a picture down here.
I doubt it.
Or we might catch something. Get struck down there.
She wanted wine.
Jeopardize the Illinois trip.
Can you get me a glass of wine or something? That's what you hear her say, if you'd pay attention.
Wow. You sure are taking this in stride, aren't you?
Yeah.
Doing your texting or at home.
Bring me a glass of wine or something.
About canceling the Florida trip.
Who?
Kirsten, Katie.
Can you help here?
So what do you know, Bobby? Look at that. It looks like she was finally ready to get up after all, doesn't it? And as soon as I noticed that she was going to try to do it herself, I said, "Do you need help?" And I immediately shut off my camera.
Can you help here?
And me and my wife went back into the house to play around with the grandkids and unwind. We didn't try to finish off any stage settings there, Jonathan, Bobby. And I'm sure that Bobby's already working up a video where he's going to put up all the clips where I'm actually starting to sound just as retarded as he is. Like on snow day 1 when I was opening up my front door.
Oh, it looks scary outside. 3 January.
Yeah, that does sound a bit retarded, doesn't it? But I'm perfectly fine with it because I know where it's coming from. It's coming from messing around all day with the kids. And the youngest one, who I think was 3 back then, he gets a kick out of me doing funny voices and making faces with him all day. You see, Jonathan, these are the people that I choose to share my face with. And these are the people who already know who I am. And they already know how much I'm willing to sacrifice for them. Because I've already demonstrated it to them time and time again. These are the only people that get to see my actual face, Jonathan, because I'm not about to hand over my picture to a nest of energy vampires who just can't wait to feed.
I just got back from downtown. This might be my only chance before the next snowfall. I gotta figure out a way to get the snow off those solar panels. So I got them on the garage as well as that. But what do I throw up there to try to drag them down with? I don't want to throw something up there it's gonna bust the cells. That would be dumb. So that's what I gotta figure out. Wish me luck. Well, I'll tell you, it was a big old no-go as far as getting any of that snow off on there. I piddle farted around with a big old like 15-foot stick for like 15 minutes trying to saw through it, but it's too thick. And look at that. I shaved all that off, but my gutters are just going to be so full. That's got to be so heavy up there. I know it's going to come down, and there's nothing I can really do because it's going to snow again tonight. Maybe. Or if not, it's going to at least freeze. And my pole over here, my poor pole, it's surviving at least. Let's see if I can get in here. It's surviving at least. Ah! Commies did it. See, that's what the other roof was supposed to do, but it didn't. Anyways, yeah, Lord only knows what scummy tadpole fungus film living down there. Look at that. The sky is perfectly blue. Why? I don't know. Who gave them the day off? Give me their name and rank. Okay, nothing new, a lot of trees down, but I need that to melt off. I need everything to melt. Dagnabbit. Well, I had never even taken into consideration any damage on the side of the house. But my poor Fotina here, get caught out. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. A pine fell over on my yeah, you can see that's got all snapped off. Everything just got snapped off. My peach tree, pear tree, whatever kind of tree. Oh, this thing's been growing here for a while. That's sad. Oh well. Better than it landing on my house. Yeah, this kind of sucks. This poor tree's been here a while too. I probably planted it there 18 years ago. Or at least a dozen years ago. Oh well. What a mess. Yeah, everything's starting to melt off pretty decent. Got some nice shiny icicles and whatnot have yous. This is the one I hope don't come down upon my RV, because that would be no fun at all. Yeah, it's got a pretty sky over there. That's too bad. I wish those were just normal clouds, but all that vapor up there, maybe a little bit of moisture, whatever it is, may combine the moisture molecule. Look at that big straight cloud, Caden. Caden, look at that big straight cloud.
We can go in the woods. We walk up that way. How can I go?
Oh, be careful of the trees. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
I really don't know how many are.
Some of them don't have ice anymore.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't mean that they're not weak.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
that's true. Well, right in his face. It's not just the ice. It's like oh, an old ball, old wiffle ball. That looks like snow. Yes.
Sounds crickety.
Is it? Yeah.
It sounds. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go like it's summertime, because the board could snap being colder.
Really? That would be terrible.
Well, I'm just saying. I don't go swinging like it's summertime, where they're going high and fast. Hey, Winnie. Hey, Winnie Bear.
Did Mocha come out or go in? Or...
She's over there standing, I think. Because you didn't have the gate closed for the other dogs. They were out.
Oh, I must not close it tight. I did close it.
You having fun, Winnie? You having fun? What is that, Winnie? What is that one? Get it. Fetch. Yeah, what is that?
No, okay.
Uh-oh. What is that thing? Fetch. Oh. Oh, you're having trouble with that, aren't you?
So dry.
Woofy, 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 woofy. Thank you.
And while I'm at it here, Jonathan, I thought that I'd share yet another tidbit with you here, since it's part of a video that actually looks like an unscripted family event, doesn't it? Or are you two boobs gonna try and tell me that this was stage 2? That really wouldn't surprise me at all, because I wouldn't past either one of you two to do it. It sounds more like what ambulance chaser Bobby McGee would be more apt to do. You know, he's got to get those fingers into whatever pie he can.
But don't you got some more videos to stage, Gene? You and your wife? That fake-ass video where she's laying on the ground. She's not even attempting to get up. You know, it's icy and snowy, and she supposedly fell. But it's kind of funny when you walk up on her. If you just look at the way she looks frozen, and I don't mean cold. She just looks like she's just stopped. She's not even blinking. She's just, it looks staged. So don't you got more videos, you and your wife, to stage? Maybe this time she could be in a burning house, and you can film that, and she's at the window trying to get out. Maybe you could do that, Gene. Maybe you can film something like that.
So what it's telling me, René, is that you do care, because she was frozen, and now you're sending good thoughts by asking for a burning house so she can get some heat because she was frozen. Is it what we're supposed to understand from this? You wouldn't refer to violence, would you? I think that it was more like you wish that she would get some heat because she was frozen, and so you wish the best for the burning house.
But no, really, look at this, Jonathan. If I didn't have the Holy Spirit within me, why am I being blessed with the love of a true family? Not a perfect family. I didn't say perfect family, but a true family. And we've got an evil dog right there to prove it, to make it complete. Because remember that, Jonathan, all dogs are vile creatures. According to the scriptures, you say. But let me ask you a serious question, Jonathan. If the true Father in heaven hasn't blessed me with the Holy Spirit, why exactly would he have allowed me to come across such a beautiful, smart, yes, Bobby, she's extremely smart, woman who then became my lovely wife. Because there were three things that kind of caught my attention at first that we kind of had in common, Jonathan. The first one was that you were chasing some lady, and I really didn't care about it, but you were determined that she was going to become your wife, even though she already had three kids that weren't even yours. And I say that that resonated with me because it was something very similar to that happened to me. Our three boys aren't the fruit of my tree. Not one of them is from my seed, Jonathan. But I'll be damned if they're not the ones who call me dad, and are the ones who text me up on Father's Day. I'm not their true DNA, Dad. No, I know that. But that's just the physical. Now, isn't it? It's the spiritual relationship as dad. That's what I've always been able to bring to the table. I mean, their true DNA father is still alive and kicking somewhere, but he hasn't spoken to any of his kids in over 2 decades. So again, Jonathan, if I didn't have the Holy Spirit within me, as you say, what would have enticed me enough to even want to take on such a mountain of a climb if it wasn't the Holy Spirit? So can you tell me at least that much, Jonathan? What would have made me choose to go from a single bachelor of 32 years old with a nice little nest egg saved up that I was going to use to upgrade my vehicle to what I wanted, but then to give all that up for an uncertain relationship with a woman that was 6 years older than I was, with three kids that weren't even mine to boot, and with the only financial contribution that was coming in from her was paycheck to paycheck, and most of that went towards taking care of the kids. So you can try to tell me what else besides the Holy Spirit would have inspired me to do all of that, Jonathan. And successfully, I might add. Not to mention, and here's the kicker, I never even wanted kids. I wasn't against kids. Hell, I once was a kid, but I never had my sights set on having any. And then one day, boom, instant family. Just add love, I guess. And that's exactly what I did, and I reap the rewards of it every day in one way or another. But how can you tell me that I can do all that, Jonathan, without having the Holy Spirit? Or at least be able to tell me why that I would even want to do all that, especially without the Holy Spirit. So what do you think, Jonathan? Was there at least a little bit of similarities between our two stories? That it shouldn't seem too far-fetched for me to have had it catch my ear the way that it did. And I said similarities. By no means was my story an exact match to yours. It just had a lot of similar attributes to it, that's all. And I know how jealous your God can be, Jonathan. And what you're going to end up doing probably is comparing what I've achieved to what you feel that you've achieved, using basically the same personnel package. And I think you're going to be a little bit jealous over it. Especially that you've been looking at me in the light of some soulless lost being that's been, coming up against Jehovah for the past 2 years. I really don't think it's going to compute for you right away. Because when I declared that I chose family, I bet you were shocked, weren't you, Jonathan? But when it came time for Mary Ann to say that she also chose family, you holler out bullshit. I'm telling you, Jonathan, I think you're going to have a difficult time reconciling these two stories because it sounds like something's out of whack here, doesn't it?
So basically, I wanted to see her. Then I was putting the foot in her apartment. Her son was calling for me. I was not making a deaf ear because he was calling, and I answered. And as I was spending time with her son, then she was away. But then I wanted her to be with us. So when she's saying that she chose family, bullshit, 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 bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit, 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 bullshit.
I need a hammer so I can break ice.
Why? The refrigerator has crushed ice.
No, I actually want to crush the snow ice.
Look, they're making clouds again. Look at the cloud. Doo-doo-doo. Sounds more like you're carving rocks instead of playing in the snow. Is that what you're doing? Were you gonna throw that at me?
I was throwing it at the snow.
Uh-huh. Were you thinking twice before you were gonna throw it to think twice that you threw it?
I never think twice.
Just looking at the chemtrail, I gotta get that snow off there before it falls on somebody's head. Knocks them out. Then I got a lawsuit. Can I get a lawsuit?
And right here would have been a perfect opportunity for you to point out, Jonathan. Did you just hear Voice of Gene say that he didn't want a lawsuit? And who else was it that was also going to put a lawsuit on Gene Revel's channel? Well, it was Jonathan Kleck.
Then I got a lawsuit. Can I get a lawsuit?
And then what would have happened was you would have tried to tie those two stories down just by using the phrase lawsuit.
Then I got a lawsuit. Can I get a lawsuit?
Then you try to make everybody think that your story is somehow spiritual. And by me mentioning lawsuit randomly in my video, Jonathan Nolin would most certainly have tried to turn it into some kind of a sign from God and then turn it into a story that should have never existed in the first place. Because right now, the both of you are victims of your own illusions, not mine.
Can I get a lawsuit? Yeah. Right there today. They're up high though. They've been turning thin and wispy quick. But they're starting to stagger out. What'd you say there? Huh? Where's that ball? Where's that ball? Get the ball. You're getting slow. You want to talk about watching out for some black ice? Down here at the little mom and pop store. I was gonna get some milk for Wyatt, some potato chips for Caden, but man, look at that. Be careful. Sheet of ice, people. You'll go sliding. Wind's picking up too. Bitterly cold. Don't like it.
And this is the last video here where I'm in the mom and pop's parking lot and it's all covered with black ice. Yep, that was the last of the outside video clips that were in my files for those 2 days. And I really hope that I was able to paint a better picture of what happened that day by using them. It wasn't at all a staged event, no matter what anybody says. Because like I said, were either of you two boobs at my house on the day my wife fell? I mean, anybody else can choose to believe whatever they want to about the whole thing. But as for me, I'm done with that part of it. Because it wasn't staged. It just happened to be the sequence of events that unfolded over those 2 days. And like I said, the video was never intended for YouTube. But in my next video, I'm gonna go over why I did eventually end up using a clip on my channel of my wife laying in the driveway, and you'll get a better understanding of why I did it. And I know that the ambulance chaser, Bobby McGee, he's not going to be able to accept any of it. But if he wants to keep staying up at night thinking about me, he's more than welcome to. Just be forewarned though, Bobby, my wife won't give me up quite as easily as your wife gave you up to her brother. You know, the one with that single brown eye that you like. So do you have any plans for any more future kids? Anything lined up with this bull of a man there, Bobby? Or are you just going to try to stick with his sister for the offspring? You do know, Bobby, that you can always adopt if you and your man just want to break away and take off for some exotic island somewhere. But I sure do wish that you and yours, whichever ones you choose anyways, I hope you guys have the best of luck with all of it. Couldn't have happened to a nicer man, Bobby. Bobby McGee.
But don't you got some more videos to stage, Gene? You and your wife? That fake-ass video where she's laying on the ground. She's not even attempting to get up. You know, it's icy and snowy. And she supposedly fell. But it's kind of funny when you walk up on her. If you just look at the way she looks frozen. And I don't mean cold. She just looks like she's just stopped. She's not even blinking. She's just, you know, it looks staged. So don't you got more videos, you and your wife, to stage? Maybe this time she can be in a burning house, you know, and you can film that and she's at the window trying to get out. Maybe you could do that, Gene. Maybe you can film something like that.
Ronna, you say you're making fun of the situation, but you sent me private message saying that Voice of Gene is wrong of making fun of you, a dying man. So you send me messages, you're telling me in the back and in the shadow and behind the scene, you tell me Voice of Gene is wrong because he's making fun of you, a dying man.
Shit, pickle.